there it is. Woo! Beautiful. There it was. You just have to coax it. I just want to take a moment to thank all my subscribers. Thank you so much. Today we're going to be gluing on this little component called the snout. That's very special to the Scout Trooper, and it goes right there. What I've done is sanded both surfaces. The back of this has been sanded, and that's just to give it a rough finish. Look at the shape of it, and notice that it's quite similar to this Boba Fett piece. Shape. I know it's a very basic, simple shape, but stick with me on this because we're going to talk a lot more about this. So it's interesting to see these shapes getting repeated on different helmets in Star Wars. It kind of makes you wonder if, is there a technology that wants it to be this shape, or is this just aesthetic? Now, most of the time, lenses are shaped like this. You'll get the template for your lens, and if you just cut it out, you'll get something like this. But what you'll find is that when you go to install it in the helmet, you need to use some kind of tape or possibly a kind of silicone to make it stay in the helmet. But I really didn't want to use tape inside of the helmet. I wanted the lens to snap in and be very strong. Now, I designed this shape, and what this allows you to do is snap it in to the mask piece, so you don't have to use tape. Just make sure it's feeding in. Slowly work it down. Oh yeah. These little guys might not look like much, but they are very important. These are the little bolts on the outside of the helmet. See, right here where the hinge is, right there. So on the inside of the mask, I've already glued the hinge bolts. These have already been glued on, and the interior has already been painted out. The kind of paint I use on the interior is water-based, and it uses organic binders, so it dries really good and like a good hard paint finish, but it doesn't create any bad smells of paint, so there's like no smell. And again, that's just so the actor is more comfortable inside of the helmet. For the glue, I like to use a couple different types of glue. But for these types of connections where it's not structural, it's mostly like a decorative connection that you just kind of want it to be very permanent. I like to use the super glue. That's a gel, ultra gel control Loctite super glue. Yeah, it really does a good job at sort of melting the PLA together. And it's not suitable for larger areas of gluing, like when you're gluing a blaster together, this isn't really suitable. But if you just need a little bit, like here, this is perfect. So we're just gonna put a little glue. Yeah. I'm just gonna put my down there. And rotate it just a little, and that's it. Get it seated. Yeah, that's not going to go in right now. Just hold it on there for, a couple seconds. 15 or 20 seconds. The detail really helps. The helmet look better. So now we're getting somewhere. Got the lens. Got the bolt. Okay. Honestly, just a few drops of glue. That's all you need. Now this has a little shape that kind of makes it want to fit in, so you just kind of get it over and just drop it in. Just let it drop in place, shake it back and forth a little, and you'll feel the glue when it grabs. It only takes a few seconds. You don't usually want to glue shiny surfaces together because that shininess is telling you it's really, really smooth. And so what you want is the glue to kind of grab into the texture. I've already spread a little bit of glue. Here we go, let's just get a new bottle started. Here we go. And we want to be very generous with the glue. There we go. We want it to almost be like caulking for this part. So there we go, get a nice layer of glue. And then just fit it to its little spot. There we go. So we have fit the lens. We just fit it on the bolts, and now we have the snout on. Isn't this great? Looking much better. Okay, but what about this Boba Fett helmet right here? What about this guy? The patterns I painted on this and the colors I chose are inspired by the Star Wars Christmas special. The vent piece, his communication pieces. This came out nice. The antenna, the targeting piece came out really good. So all this gentleman needs now is his lens to be fit. And there's a couple ways to make it want to go into the helmet. But one I've had luck with is to allow the material is very flexible that you cut it from. And so you can allow it to flex its way in and then get the bottom of the T-shape to start feeding in. And it might kind of want to bounce around a little on you inside the helmet, but just try to get it to want to start feeding in. And you can sort of double check to make sure you didn't make it too big that it's just going to break the helmet trying to squeeze it in there. But as you can see, I've got it started where it's starting to slide down the channel, but it hasn't snapped in the top part yet. And so just keep bringing it in. And then when it starts to engage on these edges, just make sure you're feeding it in. And always make sure not to drop your helmet. That's always good. So I'm gonna let it go down on his face right here on this clean table. I'm just gonna sort of feed in a little bit at a time. Yes, there it is. Woo! Beautiful. There it was. You just have to coax it. And yeah, obviously give it a good cleaning, right? There we go. Nice. See, it really does make a huge difference to get that lens fit in there. It just really adds to the material quality of the prop. There we go.